Dear students of class 11, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you and wish you a very good morning. I'd like to congratulate you for having been selected to admit into Government Brozolal College to pursue your higher secondary level of education after successful completion of your secondary education. Like all other students, you may now be filled with various emotions and questions regarding your choice of the college, opportunity for learning, and possibility of your future success. I can assure you that this pioneering institution possesses plenty of academic and co-curricular facilities required for your success. However, your indifference in study and absence in regular classes may bring failure and sadness in your future life, which I would like to draw your attention at the very beginning of your 2-year academic journey. So, start working hard and try to be punctual and serious at your studies from now on. Dear students, as you can see my name in the screen, I am Joydev Datto, lecturer in English, Government Brozolal College, Khulna. I shall teach you some lessons from your English for Today textbook and several grammar items. Every week I have on class with you. Now I invite you all to my first virtual class with you. Today I shall not discuss any specific lesson in detail, rather I shall provide you with an overview of the important lessons you will be following throughout your academic session. Okay, dear students, let's have a glance at the areas of today's discussion. Today, I shall provide you a general guideline for attending virtual classes and the use of social media such as Facebook. Then, I shall talk about your English first paper textbook. The name of your textbook is English for Today, which contains 57 lessons under 15 units. I shall briefly explain which lessons to study and in what manner. Next, I shall discuss your English first paper syllabus. In this section, I shall show you the distribution of marks and items of questions you have to prepare yourself for your HSC examination. After that, I shall mention some basic important grammar items. Very briefly, I shall point out the tips for learning those items. And finally, I shall answer some of your questions regarding list of books and online classes. As you are not directly linked with me now, I have selected your questions from the Facebook group. First of all, let's get some general guideline about virtual classes and social media. Actually, there are lots of instructions and guidelines for you, but now I shall provide only the major instructions that you should follow and activities that you should not do in virtual classes, groups, and social media in general. Let's look at what you should do in virtual classes or groups. First of all, be punctual in your presence in the virtual live class. Although the number of live classes are very few, soon it will increase. Secondly, ask relevant questions in the live and other classes. And finally, respect comments and questions of others. Next, what you should not do in virtual classes or groups. First of all, do not post anything regarding your questions and concerns in this group unless it is urgent. Secondly, do not send messages to your teacher's inbox for getting any answer of your questions. Last but not the least, don't try to enter into this group through duplicate Facebook IDs. It has been noticed that a number of Facebook IDs and requesting to enter in this group with a single student's name and roll number. Now, let's quickly have a look at the things you should do in social media like Facebook. First and most importantly, emphasize on educational aspects in social media. Now you can easily get lectures, notes, etc. in social media, YouTube. Try to enrich yourself with available resources. Try to share positive thoughts and ideas in social media. Another important thing is to respect others' posts, shares, or comments. Now you can see people easily get involved in conflict because of disrespecting others' comments in social media. Now, what you as a student should not do in social media. Do not spend too much time. Let not the pandemic and online classes be an excuse for wasting time in Facebook. Do not tag anybody, especially your seniors, to your posts, pages, and groups. Do not send group member request and like page request to teachers. And also, do not post your personal and confidential information like the photos of your identity card, passport, etc. in social media. Dear students, now I shall talk about your textbook English for today. Many students ignore reading textbook and rely on practicing model question for their examination. Because of this, their linguistic capabilities decline. Let's see why you should read the textbook. You have to answer a scene comprehension in your English first paper question, where you will have to answer 35 marks of questions directly from your textbook. Without having proper idea of the lessons of the textbook, it will be difficult to get good marks. Next, reading variety of texts will enhance your reading skill. I mean your capability of understanding text. You will be able to enrich yourself with different vocabularies and sentence structures which will ultimately help you to answer various questions in your examination. I'm sure you want to study in the leading universities of our country. Be sure that English questions of the public and leading private universities are based on your textbook and basic English grammar. So, reading textbook will help you fulfill your dream of entering in universities. Next, reading various lessons of your textbook will surely polish, enrich, and update your ideas about education, history, politics, culture, tradition, art, craft, music, etc., which will help you in long run. Finally, these textbook will provide you with a good introduction to literary texts. You may not be fully conscious about the figurative languages of writers, poets, essayists, etc. So, you will be able to learn the art of literature through this textbook. Dear students, hopefully I have talked a lot about the usefulness of your textbook English for today. Now, let's discuss how you will study the book and which aspects are especially important for you while studying the lessons. I shall specifically suggest you while teaching the lessons in detail, but let me show you which aspects of the textbook are crucial for you as a student. First, read the textbook carefully and learn vocabularies. Vocabulary means meaning of words. Your overall comprehension ability of any text depends largely on meaning of words. Secondly, accomplish the language exercises such as question answer, fill in the gaps, matching ideas, etc. designed with each text. These exercises will enrich your overall skills in English. Thirdly, try to summarize any text. You know, summaries are the key ideas of a large text. In your examination, you have to write a summary which will carry 10 marks. Finally, try to learn the themes of the poems of your textbook. Your textbook contains 12 poems. In your HSC examination, you may have to write the themes of one of the poems. Dear students, you may not properly understand the difference between summary and theme. We will discuss the ideas in detail in the relevant classes later. Let's discuss the distribution of marks from your syllabus. You have 60 marks for reading questions and 40 marks for writing questions. Reading questions consist of 6 items: MCQ and comprehension question, information transfer or flowchart, summarizing, cloze test with clues, cloze test without clues, and rearranging. Reading questions consist of 5 items. Writing questions consist of 5 items: writing paragraph answering questions, completing a story, writing informal letters or emails, analyzing maps, graphs or charts, and appreciating short stories or poems. Dear students, now I shall briefly discuss the question items for you. Question number 1 has two parts, A and B. In part A, you have to answer multiple choice question MCQ questions. There will be 5 questions. For each question, 3 options will be provided and you have to select the correct option. In MCQ questions, usually meaning of words, synonyms, antonyms, specific information, etc. are asked. In part B, you have to answer 5 open-ended questions. Each carries 2 marks. An open-ended question is a question that cannot be answered with yes or no responses or with a static response. For example, if I ask you, what is the purpose of education? You have to explain in detail. Your answer will not be yes, no, or any information. This type of questions are called open-ended questions. In question number 2, you will be given an information transfer or flowchart question which you will have to answer based on the passage. In information transfer, usually there is a table where some text items are missing which you have to answer. In a flowchart, usually a phrase is given and students are asked to write 5 more phrases or words understanding the objectives of the questions. In question number 3, students are asked to write a summary of a passage. Ideal length of a summary is 1/3 of the original text. In summary writing, you should mention only the main ideas without examples, repetitions, and quotations. Dear students, the question number 1, 2, and 3 are based on a passage from your English first paper textbook, English for Today. Next, you have cloze test with clues and cloze test without clues. There will be a few sentences where 10 words are missing. You have to select answers from 12 answers provided in a box. You will be able to make necessary grammatical changes of any word. Suppose there is a verb, you can make the noun form of the word if required. With clue question carries 5 marks and without clue question carries 10 marks. Next, rearranging sentences. I hope you all are familiar about this question. You have 10 marks for rearranging sentences. Now I shall discuss the writing section in brief. In question number 7, there will be some questions regarding a topic and students have to write a paragraph which will contain the answers to the questions. This paragraph writing carries 10 marks. Next, question number 9. Here you have to write an informal letter or email. This section carries 5 marks. After that, there is a question about describing graphs, charts, which carry 10 marks. Finally, the last question is about appreciation of short story or poem. A few lines from a story or poem will be given and you have to write mostly about the themes of the story or poem. I shall discuss how to write themes later, so don't worry if you don't understand what is theme. Now I'd like to talk about some important grammar items which you must study in your first year of study, although you do not have that in your syllabus. Dear students, I have carefully selected a number of grammar items for you. Now I shall talk about that. Firstly, you should study parts of speeches well. Please read all the classifications of each parts of speech in detail. Read the necessary items related with each parts of speech, such as while reading noun, do not forget to go through number, gender and cases of noun. Read right forms of verbs and subject-verb agreement as well. Next, read phrases and clauses. Practice a lot to get the proper idea. After that, study the classification of sentences and learn their appropriate transformation. Then, study tenses well. It will provide a strong sense of sentences. Finally, learn voice change, direct and indirect speeches, and also learn punctuation. If you follow this instruction well, you'll be able to do well in your first year examination. Remember, you will have to study 12 grammar items in your next year. Now, let's discuss some of your questions and answers. As you cannot directly ask me now, I have selected some question areas from this Facebook group. Now I shall try to answer this question. Some of you have questions about online class routine. Your routine has been provided at the time of your admission. You may find a PDF copy of that in the files section of this group. Any changes or updates in the routine will be notified. Many of you have questions about which books to buy, which your class teachers will advise you if you ask them. You will not be provided any central book list. For English first paper, collect the textbook English for Today. For guidebooks, model questions and grammar books, I may suggest some books in the later classes. A good number of students are eager to participate in online classes through various platforms. I am aware of some virtual platform of online classes such as Zoom, Google Meet, etc. Each of the items has some limitations. However, I appreciate your questions and eagerness for study. Hopefully, many of the teachers will start live classes soon. Then you will be able to participate in the classes. Dear students, I do not want to load your mind with any more information. I would like to end my today's class. So thank you very much for your patience and sincere attention. Stay safe and well in the days of pandemic, and of course follow the rules of health and safety.